This is the introduction to task 3, where you're going to be asked to create a database. So we're just going to understand what this is about. There's going to be 3 tables in this database. You can see that there are 3 files linked here. One is to do with campervans, one is to do with equipment that has been installed in campervans, and installation actually refers to the installation of that equipment. Now they're all text files as comma separated variable files, so comma separated values. So if we have a look at one of these files, this is the text file here, and you can see that it's got titles and the field names, and then here are the fields, and they're all separated by commas. So we can see here you've got the campervan ID, its registration, its photograph, which doesn't exist at the moment, its purchase date, disposal date if it exists. Here's a disposal date that exists, and then the price that was purchased. Now that's quite difficult to read in a text file, so if we have a look at it in a spreadsheet file, we can see the details of this campervan a little more easily. So we can see the registration numbers, purchase date, disposal date, original value. Now, as well as the information about the caravans, we've also got information about equipment that is installed in the caravans. Now, these are all the different options for the equipment. So you've got different descriptions here for the equipment that can be installed, standards, which can be gold, bronze or silver, and categories, which can be sat-nav or audio-visual accessibility or storage. And we can actually see some of this here if we have a look at this campervan detail. So if we have a look at campervan number 6, you can see the HGV routes satellite navigation equipment of a gold standard, and then we've got information about when it was installed. So if we have a look at the other text file that we've got here, we can now see this is all about the installation. So you've got the campervan ID, the equipment ID, which relates to this in the equipment file, the install date, and whether it was an original. That means it was installed originally with the campervan, so it was part of the original campervan, or whether it was installed as an upgrade at a later time. And then we've got this Boolean field here, which is 1 or 0, 1 representing that it's chargeable for when hiring the campervan, and 0 representing that it's not chargeable. So you can see all of that here, and then you can see the charge rates, and the charge rates are a percentage of the total weekly charge. But we don't need to worry about that too much until task 2, when we start to look at the calculations. At this stage, we're just going to focus on the raw data that we've got, because that's what's got to be installed later. But just a brief overview, you've got here, this is the original value of the campervan. The weekly charge here is a percentage of that. In fact, if we divide this by 400, it tells us what the basic weekly charge should be. We've then got an additional equipment charge. And this is worked out by all of these charge rate percentages, which will be calculated later. They're added up. That says that we should charge 23% of the basic weekly charge. And then if a campervan is over a particular age, then it gets a discount. This one hasn't got a discount, and then it has the total weekly charge calculated out, which is a basic weekly charge plus the additional equipment minus the discount, and then we get what the charge will be for that campervan. So that's just a brief introduction to this task, and the next video tutorial will take you through task 1A.